Down here, you'll see these are all the actual event frames, the startup windows, and you can see different startups and apply the time range. The chart is automatically going to go into that time range. That's the purpose of this, to be able to.
So who's
Yep,
the
go ahead,
target
Jim.
audience for this one? Who do you anticipate using this screen? Just an
I
engineering
believe,
tool, operations management? Who do you think?
for me personally, yeah, I believe this would be for managers and engineers to be able to review the startup windows and be able to take a look at what's affecting the startup time the most.
Right.
Uh,
So the first graphic was really targeted more at the operator, right? This one's really more targeted at someone who's looking at more long term, potential benefits, right? So,
yeah, exactly.
okay. And I see you've
Okay.
switched to unit two, so you can switch back and forth between unit one and unit two. This plant has two
Yep.
different units, so yep.
Yep. Seamlessly switch between assets
Yep.
just by dragging and dropping and reapplying the time range.
Excellent.
Um, yep. And the third is the event comparison. And this is a native PyVision screen that's been a little customized to basically stack these startup event frames on top of each other from 0 hour to the end of the startup, whatever that duration that may be. Um, so using this, you're able to really dive in to what's different between startups, and you're able to really compare and contrast startups that may be similar or very different. For example, this is the longest cold start out of all of them, and you can see with just the 2 points, the preset points, the unit had a trip during startup, which is why it took so long. So you can also add notes to these events, so operators can write in, or management can write in different reasons or explanations for why some startups may be longer or shorter. They can call out why some startups maybe were significantly faster than other ones. But yeah, it gets really useful when you start filtering out some of the um, more anomalous events and narrow it down to a tight window of relatively close startups with all the same shell temperature. And you start to see variations for when, example, the generators were starting to heat. This 2 hour difference right here, there's some cases where there's a 2 hour difference. This helps you point that out. That's a significant amount of time in a startup window. So being able to explain why that's happening is
Yeah.
really important.
I think as a manager, I would look at this and say, okay, why did we not start at the same point? What else was going on, right? And in light of some of the other projects we've done, I'm almost thinking, down the road, you could even do an event list, do some kind of an acknowledgement or reason code button. Hey, this was a good startup. This wasn't a good one. Put in a reason code like, hey, we had a unit trip on this one. Maybe, and then as you said, put in the comments. And I could think down the road, as we get more data here, it could be pretty useful to even analyze that, say, in Power BI or something along those lines. It'd be pretty interesting anyway.